It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday night. Nielsen and Gazzola with you for another episode of The Oil Stream. Sorry we haven't done one in about a week. I was on vacation, and then some other things popped up. We'll just say that.
Like what?
But, I don't know. It's weird because I should have more free time, but I'm busy working on stuff. So we've got lots to get to. We'll bang out a bunch of oil streams between now, the drafts, free agency. Obviously, there's going to be a lot to talk about. As always, the Oil Stream brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. The blackened chicken sandwich is back and more delicious than ever. So you want to get your hands on that. Tommy Gazzola, how you doing, buddy? What's up, man?
What a messed up week it's been, my friend. It's unbelievable. That's all I have to say. But here we are. We will continue and plow through. And let's see if something's up by the time we get to September. So I'm okay. I'm in the middle of a move. Like this.
Oh yeah, that's right. You are moving too. Yeah.
On Friday, like these pictures and this fake plant behind me will basically be the only thing in this unit, and then I'll be off to my new place. So, wow, what a tumultuous time! I'll tell you that much. And thank you to everybody who tuned in to TS at 1260. It was an honor working there for the last 5 years.
Yeah,
and Dusty,
we love you guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry that it had to be me. That was the last voice that people heard on your Smash Hit Nielsen show, which we got the ratings the week before everything went down. Apparently, we've been doing really
things were going pretty well.
Really well. Yeah. So,
yeah. That's encouraging signs, I think, for everything moving forward. Hey, does your new place have like a studio? Like, did you buy a new place that has like an extra room where we can maybe do a show or something?
Funny you mentioned that because yes, it does, and it also happens to be right outside the arena. So
that's
weird.
nice too. Then, yeah, that's good too.
Weird.
Yeah. All right. A lot has happened since the last time we did an episode of the Oil Stream. And hey, by the way, one of my favorite things was over the last 5-6 days, we find out the station's closing. I was on vacation on a golf trip, so we hadn't done any episodes. And I was talking to Huss from Lock Shop and Winnipeg Sports Talk, and he goes, "Have you checked out like the podcast chartable rankings in Canada right now?" And I was just like, "For hockey?" I said, "No, I mean, I haven't looked at those in a while." And he goes, "Oil Stream's number 3." So huge shout out to everybody who just automatically subscribe to the Oil Stream when the station shut down. We're going to provide you with a ton of content. We got some exciting plans for the future as well. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that it was noticed, and thank you very much for subscribing and tell your friends about it. All right, Tommy, lots has happened. I mean, we even haven't had an episode since Derek Ryan signed. So your thoughts on Derek Ryan getting a 2-year deal? I guess that's the story really there.
Yeah, the handshake agreement, Daniel Nugent-Bowman talked about it. Like if the second year his legs fall off or he's just not up to snuff anymore, they can send him down to Bakersfield. But we knew this deal, and we talked about it on this fine program, that expect the deal to happen relatively soon. He's well respected and liked in the room. Not bad for what he's paid to do, and very responsible player. So they get that done. Obviously, Derek Ryan, absolutely comfortable in Alberta, especially here in Edmonton as a Golden Bear, as our good friend Bob likes to point out. And so they just add or eliminate something off the checklist because there's still a lot to get to this offseason. So that's out of the way, which is a good thing.
The only thing look, everybody likes Derek Ryan. We understand what Derek Ryan brings to the table.
Yep.
The only thing the Oilers are at a point now where it's go time, right? Like they need to be able to finish the job. And you look at the bottom 6 that Vegas just won the cup with, and I just don't know if Derek Ryan fits that mold. Like he's different. He's different than those guys, but I just don't know. Like that bottom 6 was built of like younger, bigger guys,
right?
And I mean, I guess the rest of the Oilers' bottom 6 could be built like that, right?
And I know it's a copycat league, but I could point to 2 seasons ago when the Avs won and they had Andrew Cogliano in their
good
bottom
point.
6.
Good point.
There is no perfect recipe. Obviously, the one that worked this year had a monster bottom 6 and a pretty damn good third line. What it looks like next year with the Cup champs, we shall see. But, I understand that sentiment. We saw that line play very well in the third round and even in the Stanley Cup final. but year to year, those little things in the playoffs aren't always the same. I suppose is the argument I would make against that.
Nielsen and Gazzola with you here on the Oil Stream. Let's dive into your Boston Pizza appetizer quickly. And we're going to be at the Namao Boston Pizza on Monday, June 26th, 7:30 for a nice little Monday night evening stream of the Oil Stream. Tommy's family will be there. It'll be a glorious time.
Yes. So come on out. And this is all from my dad who, sweet talk Tara from BP into doing it after his boys' golf night. So I'm looking forward to it, getting back to the north side. And you know what, Dusty, we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be an excellent time. And if you want to join us, Namao Boston Pizza, 7:30 on Monday night. Tell your friends, pop on out, and we'll have a cheers to 1260 while we're there doing the Oil Stream. Should be a pretty good time. Also, of course, patio's open, and today was a day where you probably get on a patio for a little bit. So that was nice. So once again, huge thanks to Boston Pizza for being a part of this. Tommy, as far so Derek Ryan's done. What's going on with the rest of the possible free agents with this team right now?
All right, so free agent-wise, from what I was told, they've offered contracts to all of them.
Okay.
Obviously, none of them have been accepted. The UFAs will go to market and see what's out there, sniff around, and maybe they circle back. But the Oilers, from what I've been told, have sent out contract offers to the Janmarks, the Bugstads of the world, and
so they're not just walking away from all of them. They would like to get these guys back, but I would assume the numbers are very reasonable from an Oilers perspective.
They are. I mean, cap space is at a premium, as we know, and B, this is a team that wants to bring in those bottom six type players at a very reasonable price because of the cap situation and because of where the team is at as a whole in terms of being on the cusp of contender status, basically.
All right, what's going on with Kyler Yamamoto?
With Kyler Yamamoto, they are trying to move him, and there was some talk, and obviously Twitter catches on fire when anything pops up. There is a team that the Oilers know will take him, or would likely take him, but it would cost Edmonton picks to send Yamamoto to that team. That was the last update I got. Obviously, the Oilers, I was told, don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And that's reasonable. But, if it gets down to crunch time and they really, really need that cap space and want to make it happen, then maybe they cave a little bit. But from what I understand, there's no appetite for them to sweeten up a Yamamoto deal right now.
So what would be the more ideal situation? Moving some late picks to clear the whole cap space, or buy him out and have that little bit of a remaining cap hit? I feel like the buyout would be the wiser decision.
Yeah, but again, like in the conversations I've had, it's like we really don't want to have dead cap space. Like that is not.
That's a really small amount, though, isn't it? Like 253. Yeah, it's like less than 500, I think, something like that. So
So I mean, if the picks are like 2 years down the road, I know the Oilers need to restock the shelves when it comes to prospects. Maybe that's more feasible. But as of right now, like the only thing I know, we'll talk about the draft coming up. But the appetite to sweeten up a Yamo deal isn't there right now, even though there is a team that sounds like would take him if the deal is sweetened by some picks.
They're going to have to find some cap space somewhere if they're going to sign these guys that, like, they don't even have. I wouldn't even think right now they'd have the cap space to sign the free agents that they gave offers to, right? So they'd have to clear something up.
A name that has popped up is Warren Fogle again.
Yeah.
And at 2.75, my understanding is that there isn't a lot of appetite for that price point for Warren Fogle right now. That could change, and he did play better down the stretch and was effective in the playoffs.
Yeah, I liked him in the playoffs. I'd be fine with that guy back in the playoffs. You would have loved Fogle at 1.75 million. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that's the kind of tough spot that they find themselves in there. Let's tie this in to Carolina, because Brett Pesci's name popped up, and I was like, whoa, where does this come from? Are you hearing anything on this? Is there legs to this? Like, what's going on here?
I'm sure Ken Holland will poke around, but this is throw it into the unrealistic category with the Erik Karlsson, like.
Because
Highly
wasn't the rumor
unlikely.
like Yamamoto and picks for Brett? Like, why in the world would Carolina do
That
that?
would
It just
that would
doesn't
still
make
be
any sense.
yeah, that would be so lopsided. It makes from an Oilers standpoint, it sounds
Oh,
amazing to be
that's
honest with you.
genius.
From a Carolina and the rest of the league standpoint, they'd be like, "Are you guys out of your mind?" So I would put the likelihood of this like very close to zero. And I hope I
The
would be if they
Hurricanes
have
have
to.
so much cap space, man.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
don't have to worry. Like they're
And their
gonna be
defense
just
is so
fine.
good with Brett Pesci.
Yeah,
Like,
it just
unless
doesn't
he's
make
like,
any
I
sense.
want to go to
Yeah,
Edmonton, find a way to make that happen,
I do
which
like
I
the
don't think is the
idea.
case.
I do like the idea of Oilers brass, whoever it is in the group, sending out shit that makes them look like geniuses. You know,
Yeah,
because you can drop things wherever and somebody's going to run with it, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, look at this. The Oilers are going big game hunting. You know, or man,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Oilers this looks like a sweetheart deal they're working on. Like, I do like
Hey,
the idea of them just littering the water with things like that all summer. It'd be great.
and I do get slapped with that Debbie Downer, that Debbie Downer tag, but I just like guys, you've got to think about this. Got to be realistic, and it's not realistic. And I know there's going to be someone out there that's going to crunch the numbers and find the right deal. Don't do that. You're just wasting energy and wasting time. The Oilers, I will say this: they poke around. They poke around. They see what's out there, and if they can touch a pressure point, they see if they can create stuff. That's what good
Yeah, they're not
brasses
just
do.
sitting around, even though they have no
Yeah,
cap space. Like they're still going to
yeah,
try, obviously,
yeah.
but
They do
yeah.
that, but this one is anytime, and this is this is the beauty of oil country, and this is why we get to do what we do, because anytime a name pops up, there's a discussion to be had, and it kind of takes off and snowballs. But this one, although I love it and think that would be amazing, extremely unlikely. You're close to zero, I would put it at.
Yeah, highly unlikely.
Highly
I think
unlikely,
like
yes.
yeah, I think the other one I saw, I don't even know. I don't know if this was from just a fan or somebody legit or somebody said that this guy said it or it was somebody out of market or whatever it was. Did you see that tweet the other day about the Oilers going after Brandon Montour because they need a right shot offensive defenseman? I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, that's the last guy
That's
they
the
need.
last thing
Like,
they need.
the message I have for people, if you're going to start rumors, at
Yeah,
least start rumors that make sense. Like
yeah,
that one doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form.
yeah. Listen, I've had conversations with players where they've said, in a couple of years, if it doesn't work out with my team, I'd look at Edmonton. But 90% of the time, that doesn't turn into anything, and that's me talking to the player. So it's far fetched.
Yeah. Seems a little crazy. The draft is just around the corner, and we'll obviously have that Monday episode leading into draft week next week, and then lots of stuff on the draft. I would assume it's a very, very quiet draft for the Edmonton Oilers, once again, that's a little bit of a Debbie Downer situation for Oilers fans who always,
All right.
I mean, you'd love to have 10 picks and everybody be going crazy in cap space to make true hockey deals at the draft. But Tommy, this is going to be a pretty under the radar draft, isn't it?
It will be because, and I'll say this: if we were doing our draft show on 1260, it'd be a lot of us just sitting around eating Popeyes and BP
Yeah.
and talking about what other teams are doing, and then Low Tide talking about like the effect X amount of years down the road and which prospect could fill that. That's the type of show we would have, but alas, we will not be having that show.
Yeah.
The Oilers have 3 picks. The one thing I would keep an eye on, and they think that they could find a good player in the second round, but if there's an opportunity to collect more picks, and it would likely involve trading that second rounder or maybe a future pick in another year to get more picks this year, it sounds like that is something that they are open to doing. But player trades outside of if they could pull off the Yamamoto deal, right now seems pretty quiet.
Is that second pick, do you think, in any way available to create cap space? Like, would they move that to somehow create $3, $4, $5 million in cap space?
I think that they have to look at that. Like, if you want to keep this team together, or you
Yeah.
want to keep this group together and bolster it, and you need that space, then yes, I think those options or those possibilities need to be on the table.
If you have a line on somebody, even if it's in free agency or whatever, and I'm not throwing names out, I'm just taking a look at the overall general situation. If you have a line on somebody and there's no way you can financially make it happen unless you move Yamamoto and maybe somebody else briefly, and you give up the second round pick, I would essentially view that as you're moving the second round pick for this player, and you have to view it that way because of the situation they're in with the cap, right? So, I mean, I think that should be out there. But if they just go to the draft and make the second pick, I mean, I get that too, right? Like that's usually how things operate nowadays.
Picks, Dusty. They'd like to have more picks, and if they can find a way to accumulate a few more, then that's something that they would really key in on.
Yeah. All right, let's dive into Inside the Numbers for CoolBet. Stay cool, bet responsibly with our partners over at CoolBet. Obviously, no hockey to bet on right now, but CFL football, Major League Baseball, and actually, you can bet on the NHL draft. There's a ton of NHL draft props up right now over at CoolBet as well. So CoolBet.com for all of your NHL draft betting needs. I don't bet on the draft much, but with some more time on my hands this year, I might bet on the draft a little bit. But we'll see. Anyway, Tommy. Here's Inside the Numbers today. Okay. Give me the percentage chance that the Oilers bring Zach Kassian back after his buyout with the Coyotes.
What is less than 0, Alex?
Minus 100%.
Yes, not a chance. I'll say this: I really hope Zach Kassian is well. He's someone I got to know a little bit in his time in Edmonton, and I actually had a good relationship with him. And listen, his career is not wrapping up the way he had envisioned, and maybe someone throws him a flyer, but I feel like from the things I've heard and how things ended in Edmonton as well, there's it's going to be tough for him, and there's a bit of a warning label with him. So hopefully he sorts his life out and everything's good. And I hope that he's in an NHL uniform next season, but it definitely will not be with the Edmonton Oilers.
I did see people, like, everybody's God, I love Oilers Twitter in the offseason, man. It is like, I saw some people like, why not $750K? Bring him back. He can hit, but he doesn't do that stuff anymore, right? Like Zach Kassian's game is not what it was in the 2017 run. That was 7 years ago, man. Yeah,
and just look at how things ended in Arizona on an absolutely garbage team.
Yeah.
Where, I know he was a little bit dinged up from what I was told, but it basically got to the point where they're just like, don't worry, Zach, you're not playing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's maybe a sad ending here, but who knows? Maybe it'd be best for him to call it a career and move on to some other things as well. But anyway, inside the numbers for CoolBet, 0% chance that Zach Kassian is brought back to the Edmonton Oilers. In our next episode, we'll look at the chances of Jesse Puljujärvi coming back today. No, people would say, like, people could be like, hey, Leonard Petrell, $750K, or Gaetan Haas. Hey, I heard Gaetan Haas is looking to come back to the NHL.
Yeah,
well, why not? Why not? $750K. Do it.
Yeah, Johan Ovitu. You need some depth on defense.
Johan Ovitu. God, I completely forgot about that name. Yeah. Was that he came over in a jersey trade? Is that where it was? Because he was a Devil at some point, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
He spent time in Europe, and he's a really interesting guy. He spoke like 5 different languages. I enjoyed chatting with him, but why not? If we're throwing those names out there, Johan Ovitu
played in the KHL and in the Swiss League last year.
Yeah,
and I'm just looking back to the trade. Oh no, signed by New Jersey, then signed by the Oilers. So it was not a trade. It was a free agent signing, July 10th, 2017, with the Edmonton Oilers. You know what? In the end, Tommy, they're past that point on the blue line. So mission accomplished, Ken Holland. Mission accomplished. All right, that's going to do it for another episode of the Oil Stream. We'll be back on Friday with another one, and then Monday we'll be at Boston Pizza in the Mayo. You can join us 7:30 starts. Tommy's dad and his golf buddies are going to be there, and it's going to be a glorious night because neither of us have to get up early for work on Tuesday. So that's the one bright spot of all this stuff. I've been sleeping in till like 7 o'clock, taking the kids to school. Tommy, you got to look on the bright side of things, right?
Always. Chaos creates opportunity, my friend, and we'll see what transpires.
What a great saying. Chaos creates opportunity. I like that, buddy. All right, man, get us out of here.
All right. Thank you to everybody who subscribed, all our new subscribers. It does mean a ton to us. It really does. And this bad boy will continue on. And with that being said, be sure to like, share, subscribe, smash that thumbs up button. YouTube is a big one that will now start to become more prominent. So thank you, and we'll talk to you guys on Friday.